I recently spent $250 on my Warhammer army, which for Warhammer isn't a lot, but I've been hearing online that 3D printing can make the hobby even cheaper. So I'm going to be putting that to the test today. I'm going to 3D print the rest of my Astra Militarum army, and at the very end, I'm going to bring in some non-wargamers to see if they can tell the difference between a few painted 3D prints and the official painted GW plastic. So with all that said, let's jump into it.
So our list already includes our entire Battle Force box that we put together in 10 hours, just last video, and it also includes one of my reclaimed Nature Knights and a Kriegsman kill team. I'm wanting to add 20 more Cadian shock troops, 3 Leman Russ battle tanks, as well as a named character and a nice little Ogryn squad. So obviously we can't print the exact STLs, that would be a crime, but we can use excellent proxies, and the one that I'm going to be using is going to be from the Daka store on My Mini Factory. I'm going to be using their prices as well for the price comparison and breakdown. Luckily, all of these prints came together really well on the Elegoo 3D printer. This was my second or third time using this. This is a new printer for me. I'm still figuring out resin printing. I didn't really have any failed prints during this. There's a couple of cracks in some of the tank bodies, but outside of that, everything looked good. So 3D printing on at least the resin printer is a bit of a 4-step process. First, you load up your STL, you make sure everything fits on the plate, then you hit print. After that, you got to take it off of the build plate, drop it into a little alcohol bath, and then give it a little UV light shower, and it's good to go. In maybe a minute and a half, and you have a really good finished tank. Now, I know the Rogel Dorn also has these side turrets. I didn't print them to keep them in line with the same kind of sleek vibe that I've been going for with this Astra Militarum build. So altogether, the only thing I would say is the 3 hours of printing per tank might be a bit of a deterrent, but overall I'm actually really impressed with the sculpt, especially looking at it all now. It looks like honestly something that you could just pick up and buy. Definitely looking forward to painting these up. I'm going to paint one of these and see if our special guest can tell the difference between these and our painted up plastic ones. Okay, and I've also printed a ton of troops and even these Ogryns. So I just wanted to show what these look like when they're coming off of the printer. So they have these supports and it's pretty easy to take off, luckily. So you just take all of the supports off and boom, you have a nice model underneath. Okay, and these Ogryns actually came out really nice. I'm pretty pumped on these guys. So I got one squad of these guys, and then the only thing left to put together, and these are coming together super quick, are just the 20 troops and a character, which normally would be a real pain, but luckily they're already printed with their torso and legs ready to go. So this time we're literally just putting on heads and weapons. So that's gonna make it 10 times easier. And now I've got everything on a base. So we have our character, our 20 Cadian shock troops, and our Ogren, and our 3 tanks. And everything is looking pretty good so far. Now the only thing left to do is to paint up. I'm gonna do probably 2 or 3 of the Cadian shock troops and then 1 of the tanks, and paint them in the exact same style as my current army setup. Do the same basing techniques and then see if somebody can tell the difference if they've never built or looked at Warhammer.
So I hit everything with a nice Zenithal prime. I laid it down with a gray primer and then hit it with the white from above. After that, I started working on the tank, going over it with a nice orc green, and then in again with a algae green. And then my final kind of piece of the recipe is a camo green. And honestly, I thought it came out really nice. So far, so good. Now for the painting of the troops, I need them to match the rest of the army, which we did with speed paints during our 10-hour challenge. So I didn't get to take as much time as I would like, but I can always reprint these guys a little later on. But I wanted to make sure it was a fair comparison when I have the 3D printed and the actual plastic kit. So gotta do the same exact paint job. So for this, it's just going in and getting a nice camo green on all the pants and shirts, black for the coats and boots, and then green for all of the armor pieces. For our tank, that meant dry brushing on the metallics, and then going in with a wash all over just to make sure we give everything the same level of grime. After that, it was just a matter of adding all of our foliage effects that we had applied before, and here are the models that we're going to be comparing the 3D prints to. Can you tell the difference between these two?
No. No.
The ones I think are printed right here.
Yeah.
And leave the other ones in the pile. No, that one can't be. That one looks too good. I think these are 3D printed. I think those are the ones you bought.
See, this one's 3D printed.
Okay. If I took a guess, this one.
So now we know most non-players can't really tell the difference, but what about what we're trying to find out all along? How does the official Games Workshop price and 3D prints stack up? Well, the numbers weren't quite as cut and dry as I thought. If we were to buy all of these kits from Games Workshop that we're proxying, we would have spent $420. Nice. But look at what we paid for in STLs to 3D print, we spent about $43, which seems like quite a bit of savings until you factor in the actual cost of this 3D printer. The 3D printer itself is worth $439. So if you were just getting a 3D printer to just finish printing your army, then it's definitely not worth the price. But if you used it more than once, then it kind of pays for itself. I think 3D printing definitely has its benefits. It's much cheaper in the long run with a pretty big upstart cost, but I also really enjoy the building part of plastic kits. Let me know in the comments which one you prefer, and if you've decided to give 3D printing a try after this. Thank you so much for checking this out. Feel free to check out my most recent video where I put together the beginning of this army in 10 hours here, and have a good day. Bye-bye.